you know things are getting serious when even Prince Harry's strongest supporters are starting to ask uncomfortable questions. Because right now, a growing storm is surrounding the Invictus Games, the very project Harry has spent years calling his greatest achievement. But suddenly, people are asking, where is all the money going? Why are sponsors quietly disappearing? And why are veterans themselves beginning to feel like they're being used for a giant public relations show? What started as a respected competition supporting wounded veterans is now facing accusations that could seriously damage Harry's reputation forever. And honestly, this controversy is no longer staying hidden inside royal gossip circles. It's now exploding into the mainstream. Because, according to explosive new reports, the 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler reportedly cost more than 63 million Canadian dollars to organise. That's over $100,000 per competitor, and the comparisons being made are brutal. Other veterans sporting events around the world reportedly operate on a tiny fraction of that budget. So, naturally, critics are now demanding answers, especially because a large portion of that money allegedly came from taxpayers. And this is where things start getting very uncomfortable for Prince Harry. According to reports, public funding from the Canadian government and British Columbia helped finance the Games, while the remaining money came from corporate sponsors and donations. But critics say something doesn't add up, because despite all this money flowing into the organisation, reports claim direct grants to veteran groups actually dropped dramatically. That detail alone has triggered outrage online. People are now asking, if millions are being spent, why are veterans allegedly receiving less support? And the controversy doesn't stop there. Financial filings connected to the Invictus Foundation reportedly raised multiple red flags for investigators and commentators. Questions surrounding legal fees, executive salaries, growing cash reserves, and unexplained payments are all now fueling suspicions that something bigger may be happening behind the scenes. Now, to be clear, none of these allegations have been legally proven against Prince Harry personally. But the optics? Absolutely terrible, especially at a time when many countries are struggling economically and taxpayers are questioning where public money is going. And, perhaps the most damaging part of this entire scandal, sponsors reportedly appear to be backing away. One of the biggest talking points right now is the growing concern that major corporations may no longer want to be publicly associated with the Invictus Games. Reports claim some companies are quietly ending partnerships or refusing to renew sponsorships. And if true, that could become a massive problem. Because without corporate money, events on this scale become almost impossible to sustain. Meanwhile, critics are accusing Harry and Meghan of turning the Games into something closer to a celebrity publicity tour rather than a Veterans First charity event. And those accusations are spreading fast online. Social media commentators have started calling the Invictus Games everything from a PR machine to a luxury royal image campaign. Others claim the focus increasingly shifted away from injured veterans and toward Harry and Meghan themselves. And honestly, some of the criticism is harsh. Very harsh. Critics point to the expensive hotels, security, travel arrangements, designer outfits, media appearances, and carefully staged public moments surrounding the couple during recent games. To supporters, that visibility helps bring attention to veterans. But to critics, it looks like Hollywood-style branding disguised as charity work. And now people are beginning to wonder if the public image around Invictus is finally collapsing. Even more damaging are claims that qualified professionals allegedly refuse to work with upcoming Invictus events after learning about the organisation's growing reputation problems. If true, that suggests concern is spreading internally too. And remember, this isn't just another royal project for Harry. This is arguably the last major initiative still closely tied to his public identity. After stepping away from royal duties, Harry lost many of the traditional roles and charitable connections that once protected his image. Several projects connected to him have already faced criticism or controversy, which means Invictus became incredibly important. In many ways, it became Harry's final success story. And that's exactly why this scandal matters so much. Because if public trust in Invictus disappears, what does Harry have left? That's the question royal commentators are now openly asking. And behind the scenes, pressure appears to be building fast. The next Invictus Games are scheduled for Birmingham in 2027, but reports suggest organisers are struggling to secure major sponsorships, and critics are furious that large amounts of taxpayer money are reportedly still being committed despite financial concerns, especially since Birmingham itself has faced major economic difficulties in recent years. Many people online are now asking why ordinary citizens should fund a massive international event linked so closely to wealthy celebrities. And once that question enters public conversation, it becomes very difficult to control. At the same time, Harry's broader public image continues taking hits from multiple directions. Another awkward moment came during the recent Met Gala conversation circulating online. Social media exploded with rumours that Harry and Meghan were not invited to the event, despite Meghan's long reported interest in high fashion and celebrity culture. Now again, rumours are rumours, but critics quickly turned the story into another sign that Hollywood elites may be distancing themselves from the Sussex brand. Whether fair or unfair, perception matters. And right now, public perception around Harry feels increasingly unstable, because the biggest issue facing Harry today may not actually be money. It may be credibility. People are starting to question whether his projects genuinely help others, or mainly protect his celebrity image. That is an incredibly dangerous narrative for any public figure, especially one whose entire identity is built around charity, compassion, and humanitarian work. And perhaps the saddest part of all this. Many people truly loved the original idea behind Invictus. The mission inspired millions around the world. Supporting wounded veterans is something almost everyone can unite behind, which is why these allegations feel so disappointing to many observers. Because critics fear the veterans themselves may now become overshadowed by controversy, politics, celebrity drama, and financial questions. And if that continues, the real purpose of the Games could slowly disappear. Now the big question is, can Prince Harry recover from this? Can he rebuild trust? Can sponsors be convinced to stay? And perhaps, most importantly, will the public continue supporting Invictus if these financial concerns keep growing louder? Because one thing is becoming impossible to ignore. This story is no longer staying hidden. The scrutiny is increasing. The criticism is spreading. And for Prince Harry, the pressure may only just be beginning.